it's Linda Fox. I'm Senior Reporter with PhocusWire at the World Aviation Festival in partnership with Pros, and I am delighted to welcome CEO of IATA, Alexandre de Juniac. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning.
Let's start with NDC. I feel like you inherited NDC, and I also feel in some ways it's a lot like our Brexit situation at the moment. Is it happening? Is it not happening? Is it disruption? Is it, where are we with all of this?
Now, first of all, it's a key technological protocol to allow airlines to be able, to display their offers to their customers, whether it's through travel agents or directly through to their passengers. We have invested billions in options, in diversifying our offers, in enriching our offer with a lot of things, whether it's a vegetarian meal or a dedicated seat or lounge or whatever you can imagine. And nobody was aware of it because it was not displayed to the travel agents and to the passengers. Mm-hmm. So now they have a much broader possibility to choose the right travel experience they want to have with us. So it was absolutely key. It took time, but now
it's still taking time.
It's taking time, but now we have 60 airlines who have committed, to adopt NDC, and we have a target of having 20% of their
inventory,
sales,
I suppose.
Sales done through NDC, and we are above that.
So but that's for the 21 airlines, not for the 60, or if the 60 signed up to that
that's
ambition?
That's for the 21, and it will be for the 60. Mm-hmm. So and we are ahead of our objective.
So when will it be for the 60? Because obviously the 2020 was the deadline for the 21,
sure, yeah.
and
then for the 60 it will be probably in 2022 or 2023.
Okay.
No, but it is coming.
Okay.
It is coming. We have faced, some strong resistance from other stakeholders. Sure. Oh, but now they are converted. They are all NDC qualified or certified. So now it should be the standard protocol.
Mm-hmm. And you think it's going to be not exactly plain sailing from here on in, but more plain sailing, I would say. Do you think it's going to be smoother ride from here on in?
Yeah. Oh yes. And it will it will allow passengers to have the right choice.
Mm-hmm. So after that initial 21 airlines 2020 deadline, there's still work to be done, obviously. There's still complex issues such as interlining. How much of a challenge is that going to be?
Technologically speaking, it will not be a challenge. But as it has been for the adoption of NDC, we'll have to convince everyone to converge in these new features of our technological protocol. If we keep the right momentum, which is the case now, I think that it will grow and will be adopted fairly easily.
And then the next kind of, I suppose, initiative is one order.
Yep.
Some people are talking about it, and then you talk to others in the industry, and they say it's not on the radar at all. So when does that really start being pushed?
In fact, one order has started much later than NDC. It has become, clear that we needed something to be able, to have a seamless or simpler, a pipe of orders between airlines. Mm-hmm. To avoid, changing systems or changing, the data you exchange, etc. And so the adoption rate or the movement is linked to the need for airline to interact with others. For those who have a lot of interlining of code shares, they think it should be done quickly. For others, they are less interested. Okay. But it will come, I think. It will come. I'm not very worried.
Okay. What would you say currently are the biggest challenge for IATA as an organization?
First of all, we have to be, I think, probably more present and more vocal on some key issues. Environment being one of them.
Sure, you mentioned that on stage this morning.
It's absolutely key. Mm-hmm. But there are others, I think, on safety. We are totally legitimate, to express ourselves when there is when there is an issue, the 737 MAX being one of them. And interestingly, we have gathered, the operators, the 737 MAX operators, twice. So not only the airlines, but the FAA, Boeing, the regulators, to try to define what would be the conditions for the re-entry into service and to express the views of the airlines. And interestingly, highly supported by some regulators who said we need the voice of the airlines. Mm-hmm. So that's typically a subject, so safety, on which we are legitimate, not on everything, but on some key points, to speak with one voice, and IATA has to do it. I think that in terms of innovation and paving the way for innovation, we have a key role to play, either by experimenting some new ideas, some new product, or by setting the technological standards or the regulatory standards that will provide the ability for the technology to be deployed. That's another area, and then we have to develop our activities in various products and services that we give to our members and to our stakeholders.
So I'm glad you mentioned innovation there, because I heard yesterday, for example, that IATA was working on some virtual interlining projects. So generally, what's your view on innovation? How do you prioritize? How do you decide what to work on? Is it by committee?
But first of all, we use what we call the advisory council. It was called the committee before, the advisory council, in which we have the representative of the airlines to first of all to collect their ideas or to test new ideas. Either it comes from them, they say that we see issues that we should deal with, or we put on the table some ideas and say we see issues. What is your opinion? So that is the first channel. The second channel is the various contacts we have with the various partners or various members of the industry, bilateral contacts that could trigger some ideas or some new inventions. Plus the fact that we are trying to manage an ecosystem in which we gather all the initiatives, ideas coming from everywhere.
Is there a
even
budget?
From outside the yes, of course.
Yeah.
Okay. There is not a per se R&D.
Okay, but there is a budget for innovation or new projects.
No, but you must know that we have projects. The investment budget, what we spend on projects every year, it's something like $70 million. So it's not a small number.
Sure. But it's quickly spent in technology.
It's quickly spent. It must be appropriately and adequately
focused.
spent.
Okay.
Yeah. So our job is to focus and select.
Okay.
I ask everyone in IATA to come with ideas, and then my job with
do you get the final say?
The management team and I get the final say.
Okay.
But I ask people to be creative, and then my job is to make the selection, and I try to make the best one. Looking for advices and for also using some external eyes sometimes.
Yeah. Now you came from an airline to IATA. You
Yep.
came from Air France. Was there anything that surprised you when you took on the role?
I was on the board before, so I thought I knew the organization, and I've been surprised by two things. First of all, the firepower of this organization is enormous, and it's due to the authority, etc., but it's also due to the expertise.
Don't you have to say that?
The formidable expertise.
Yeah. Do you not have to say that because of what you stand for, the industry you stand for?
No, I don't have to say that. The level of expertise is particularly high, and it's not by chance. It's because this organization is well structured and has enough financial means to pay for the best people, for the best expertise. So we have really the expertise is strong, it's very strong. Secondly, the firepower in terms of influencing, talking to governments at the highest level, or to the regulators, is very, very high. Higher than I expected.
Okay.
Higher, much higher. And there are a lot of products and services that you don't always see at the board level that are so useful to our members. Starting from the BSP, but not only the BSP, the DDS product or thematics, or that have become quite standards for the industry.
Now, one project you've been working on and talking about is One ID.
Yes.
And it feels a little bit as if, once again, the industry is sort of working in silos on that, because I know one of the GDSs is working on an ID project. I know that the World Economic Forum has been working on an ID project. Is there some way, do you think, to bring all of these projects together so that actually we're all working together?
You know, in this project there are two issues. First of all is what technology are we going to adopt? And this issue, I think, is behind us. It will be biometrics. Mm-hmm. Good.
Seems so.
Yeah, but it's a major step forward, because you know, as I do in technology, you have one different opinion per individual. You are so having everybody converge on one technology, which is biometrics, is a major improvement, major step forward, achievement. I would like to say. Secondly, we have to get people agree on the set of data that will be on this technology. That is not the easiest part, but I think in 3 to 5 years we'll have made it.
Mm-hmm. It will be a huge step forward for the passenger.
At last, at last, a single token. The point is to have government comfortable with the set of data and the technology which is used for security reasons.
Okay, so just one final thing. What do you see, what is the single concern that your airline members come to you with on a daily basis, on a weekly? What is the one thing that keeps coming up, that they keep asking you for, or to work for, or to, what would that one thing be?
There is not one. One is this. They are asking us, to help them to solve political issues, environment being one of the key ones,
Sure.
particularly in Europe. It starts with Europe. It will probably spill over in other parts of the world, but no. Secondly, the infrastructure question is a very, very big question. Cost, because we are a low-margin industry and cost-driven.
Yes.
And more digital issues.
Yeah.
Digital transformation, whatever you call it.
Yeah. Digital landscape. Yeah.
That is, and it has come from IATA to put the digital transformation, digital issues on the top of the list, and all our members said, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Because I think they're doing similar.
They are doing similar, and we see that the question is so complex and so vast that we should address it in a consistent way.
Alexandre, thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much.